Hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Frantz here. And before we go any further, I want to let you know that I had to change room locations for this one episode. Got some things going on in the living room that I'm taking care of. But anyway, let's get back to business. Welcome back to the Ambassador. Well, today I want to talk about a subject we call death by temptation. Okay. Now, this is a very important topic because you know what? Temptation is the biggest thing that is really trying to take us down. And it's a natural part of life, right? Because we're going to find ourselves in situations where we're going to be tempted to want to do something. And whatever that is, we have to be strong against it. Okay? Now, what made me come up with this title was there was a movie back in the 90s, I believe, called Deaf, DEF, by Temptation. And it was about a demonic spirit that killed men, lured them in and killed them.
Bed she sleeps in. Now this freaky bed says to me that you are one hot-natured freakazoid.
That woman, and I don't know why you can't see this, man, is crazy. She is a murderer. I'm telling you, something ain't right.
No!
I'm sort of kind of taking a break right now.
Well, tell me, Joel, how does one just simply take a break from God?
Blessed is the man that endureth temptation.
Joel is the last one of his line. Soon it's all going to be over.
Come to the fold. Come to the fold, Joe.
I can't hold my back.
Listen, I don't have time to explain the whole thing, so please trust me. I want you to put this in her drink. Now, that's holy water that's just been blessed.
The fucking plan didn't fucking work. Let's get the fuck out of here, don't we? Oh, you telling me now that along with criminals, we got ETs and zombies killing people, man?
There's another movie that's out kind of similar to it. It came out about 10 years, maybe 15 years after that with Scarlett Johansson. And I forgot what that movie was called, but she was kind of robotic. And
So you live alone?
Yes.
Think I'm pretty?
I know, gorgeous.
I have a place about 30 minutes away. Come to me. the last time you touched someone? You don't want to wake up, do you?
I'll think of it. But anyway, in that movie, she was killing men, luring men sexually.
Here we are. Home sweet home.
I love you so. I
Oh.
want you to know
Oh, what is that smell?
I'm gonna miss your love the minute you walk out that door. So please don't go.
What are you doing there? The smells? Power tools going all hours of the night? I hear screaming coming from your apartment.
I'll just try and say I'm sorry. So you gonna open your gift? Eat it now.
I love you so.
I don't know what's in that.
I want you to know.
It's just meat.
I'm not eating that.
Try to do a nice thing, you know? You're just like my mom.
Gonna miss your love.
Telling on me when I ain't done nothing wrong.
I called you for months. And it's too late. Y'all came too late.
Eat it.
On July 14th, a dark-haired man in his late 20s or early 30s was seen approaching several girls on campus. He told them his name was Ted.
Need a lift?
Ted knows how to make these girls trust him. You need help there?
I dropped my keys. Would you mind?
You are a lifesaver. He sees their kindness as weakness.
And he knows how to make them disappear.
I can honestly say Theodore Bundy is the most dangerous individual I've ever observed. He derives mystical satisfaction from killing.
First it's one victim, then two, then three. There's always that need that's left. Desire for more. It's a never-ending cycle, like a serial.
A serial killer.
That's what they should be called.
Your son is currently on the FBI's 10 most wanted list.
My father used to say Teddy was conceived in hell.
What most stimulates an individual is the hunt.
Something big going on down here.
A female student was attacked at Florida State University.
What the hell is going on, Herb?
Shutting down the task force.
But he's still out there.
You gotta let it go.
Why don't you tell them that you no longer have the resources to go after the man who mutilated their daughters? I'm gonna get him if it's the last thing I do. I'm gonna get him for what he did to those girls. He's a ticking time bomb.
He was a good son.
No man is truly innocent.
And I started thinking about, wow, how sex has become something that's magnified to the point where it's people are profiting off it. And now we know that always happened in history, right? But now, we're living in a moment of time, especially with the internet, that we have a lot of people that's selling out their morals for money. Okay. The love of money is the root of all evil, right? But it's necessary in this world, right? At least now, until they give us digital money and they switch the system over. But right now, everybody's chasing the money. And unfortunately, we're losing a lot of people's morals while they're chasing this money, and they're chasing it at all costs, at all costs.
There's a war. Our children are being sold for sex on the streets of the cities that we live in. We need to do something about this. But I've been hearing about the war since 2009, and we still haven't solved the problem. They are hunting our children. They are turning our children into commodities. And our streets are not safe as long as those traffickers are out there.
They'll reach out to those girls on social media, and they'll look for that 12, 13, 14-year-old girl who says that she's mad at her dad on social media. And that trafficker looks for that opportunity to start manipulating her, separating her from her friends and separating her from her family by telling her the things that she wants to hear.
It's a teen girl that ran away from home, and a trafficker picked her up at the bus stop or saw her at the mall or offered her a warm meal or a place to stay.
He gets her to do something that she regrets, and then will use that as blackmail against her in order to get her to do more things, or to get her hooked on narcotics, and then she'll do anything to get the narcotics. The statistics show that 1 in 6 runaways will be approached by a human trafficker within the first 48 hours that they run away.
We started Deliver Fund with the idea of we want to rescue the victim, but the best way to do that is to actually remove her trafficker from the system. And in doing that, you not only rescue that victim, but you rescue the potential victims that trafficker would have in the future.
At Deliver Fund, we started looking at all the different problems and seeing where we could be the most effective. We take our special operations and intelligence capabilities and our technology, we focus them on finding out who the human trafficker is so that we are preventing future victims by eliminating the human trafficker.
I started my career in intelligence with the United States Air Force, and I was a SIGINT analyst for 6 years. I deployed to both Iraq and Afghanistan doing targeting in a counterterrorism target set. I was contacted by Nick McKinley, and he offered to allow me to hunt human traffickers, and I just could not refuse.
We built Deliver Fund with a pretty comprehensive group of people from different places, from both former military intelligence, CIA, NSA, FBI.
Working at Deliver Fund as a targeting analyst, I have a very cool job because all I have to do is wake up and open my computer to go to work. So wherever I am, I can find you a human trafficker because it's happening absolutely everywhere.
So to solve the problem of connecting law enforcement and connecting cases, we realized that we could do it the same way that we did with terrorism overseas. We equip, we train, and we advise law enforcement for the fight against human trafficking, specifically equipping them with software. We have our own engineers, and really for the first time in history are building purpose-built software for the fight against human trafficking. The second piece of what we do is we train law enforcement. So it's not enough just to give law enforcement tools and say, go forth and conquer human trafficking. You actually have to give them the training on how to use those tools in the most efficient and effective manner possible.
Between the technology and the training that we've given them, we've taken what was otherwise still taking them on 3 weeks or longer down to a matter of just hours, from the time of finding that to getting a warrant to being able to action on it. One of the first cases that we were involved with at Deliver Fund was the Samantha case. She was addicted to heroin, sold for sex 6 to 20 times a day.
In my city, there was only 2 officers that were assigned to the human trafficking task force at the time. And they didn't have the resources or the tools they needed to actually build a case. So I was still living in constant fear. This is when they connected me with Deliver Fund. So I only had maybe his first name, the make, model, and color of his car. And that was the information that I was able to give them and the police. So that's why the police were not able to make a case with the little bit of information I had. Deliver Fund used that same information and the phone that I had and was able to track him down with the tools and the resources that they have. And they were able to build the case that law enforcement used to charge him. I can honestly say if it wasn't for Deliver Fund, I wouldn't be here today because I would still be in fear of my life. I would still be running, and I probably would still be in the sex industry.
In today's world, we touch the internet. When we touch the internet, we leave fingerprints all over the place. We find those fingerprints, and the digital evidence that we're working with is overwhelming. You cannot lie. It provides law enforcement with the ability to basically confront them with their crimes.
The Achilles heel for the human trafficker is the fact that in order to do business at scale, they have to advertise. And once you touch the internet, we can find you.
The solution to ending the problem is going after the bad guy, going after the criminal, going after the one who would be willing to sell our children. That's how we're going to end human trafficking in our lifetime.
Okay? So, and behind that cost is a consequence. And many times there's death behind those consequences. You know what I'm saying? Because that temptation is not a good thing, y'all. It's luring you. It lures you through your ambition. It lures you through your likes. It lures you through your desires. You know what I'm saying? But you know what a lure is. You don't want to be lured into anything. Think about that. We live in a world where money is so important that your neighbor will sell everybody in the neighborhood drugs. Get them all addicted. They'll make money off killing your uncle, your aunts, your daughters, your sons, your mamas and daddies, your cousins, your nieces and nephews. The love of money is so dangerous because it's just destroying people morally. And what's really hard about it? Because this temptation, this death by temptation, because it's killing people spiritually, then it's killing people morally, it's killing people mentally, and eventually it kills them physically and financially. You know what I'm saying? Because temptation wants to drain every good thing out of you. It wants to trap you in your own ambition and have you thinking that, hey, I got this, this, and this. You know how many miserable rich people there are? Just as many as there are many miserable poor people. Just because you're getting money don't mean you're going to be happy. It doesn't equate to that. Humans were made with, I would say, like 3 different layers, right? I would say. Now, this is just in a metaphorical way, in a sense, right? Mind, body, and soul. Human beings concentrate on their mind and on their body, but nobody is telling us about the soul. Because you can go chase the things of the world. You can chase the things of the mind. You can make the body look the best it ever looked. But the soul can be empty. The soul can be lonely. The soul can be hollow. You know what I mean? And the soul is the most important of the 3. Because if you're functioning really good in your soul, you're going to function well in your mind and you're going to take care of your body. This temptation has gotten people beat up, sent to prison. And you know what happens, man? Let me tell y'all something. The world tricks us into believing that so much of this stuff out here is important. Fathers are missing out on their children growing up because of prison. Mothers are missing out on their children growing up because of prison. We need to start teaching these children consequences. There got to be consequences at every stage of a human being's life. And I'm not saying abuse, because abuse is not discipline, it's abuse. But you have to have consequences at every stage so the human being can learn. You know, and everybody say people don't change. No, people can change. And people don't change because they don't want to change. But people can change. And let me tell you something for a fact. Some people say, well, only with Jesus, only with God. Yeah, that's there, right? But you got to also talk about which Jesus they're talking about, which God they're talking about. But truth be told, change starts from within. Now, Jesus, Yeshua, God, Yahweh, will intercede and help you with that, but you have to make the initial step forward. You have to step forward and say, I need help, And once you do that, you're able to see temptation coming. Temptation is nothing but death. Look at how many prostitutes are missing. Look how many transgenders are being killed today because of just their identity. You know what I'm saying? I believe their lifestyle is wrong. It's against the Bible. But a lot of times these people, it's in their mind. It's in their heart. That's how they feel. You know what I'm saying? But we have to talk to them and just show them that, you know what? A lot of us feel a certain way about certain things, but look at the end result. Look what's happening with these transgenders after 10 years, 15 years. The suicide rate. That's Lucifer. That's temptation. It's doing things to destroy your moral compass. It's doing things to confuse you, to put you in this mindset. And then once you're in that mindset, it takes you to all these different places. We got to be rooted in holiness. We got to be rooted in faithfulness, holy faith. We got to be rooted in reality, in strategy. We have to be rooted, okay? So we have to be rooted and grounded in strength and in courage and in spirit, because we're going to have to go against a tidal wave of people who's going to come at us because they've been taught by the world to be dependent on it, and the world doesn't love nobody. And everybody out there in YouTube world, y'all out there know the world don't love nobody. The church don't love nobody because the church is trying to get money too. Everybody's trying to get money. But it's not about money. This is about chasing something grander, bigger than money, because money's going to go away one day. They got to flip this system over. Remember, one world government, one world religion, and one world currency. That's the prophecy. And they're already talking about it now. All you got to do is just look online and look up the Great Reset. Go look up Agenda 2030. Go look up some of these things. You have to just be ready for what it is. And all that means is stay focused. Don't let temptation, take you down, because that's what temptation does. The mind is the battlefield for Lucifer and his team. You got to learn to trace in temptation, because temptation equals death. It leads you to iniquity. It leads you to a place that wants to destroy you. That's why you got to be careful with the way you move. You got to be careful with what you interact with. That's why you got to be careful in the way you word things. I'm just saying that, y'all, look, temptation is dangerous. The book of Proverbs will warn you about a lot of things, and temptation is one of them. You need to learn about temptation. See, temptation could never defeat you if you're really studying your word. But let me tell you something. If it's in your heart to fight and you're a soldier and you're a warrior and you have that spirit and you're for the kingdom of heaven and you've been studying the policies and laws and instructions of third heaven, then you're going to have the strength inside to fight temptation because you already see that. Remember, I told you earlier in a few other videos that when you turn your life over and make Lucifer and evil and darkness, wickedness, your enemy, then you start learning ways to detect them and to defeat them. And if you feel like you're too weak to defeat them, then you lean on the strong tower of the kingdom of heaven. You lean on holy strength. And guess what? They'll pick you up and carry you through that section. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we get exhausted on this walk. Sometimes we're so exhausted that we don't have enough strength. So we have to be carried in certain situations. And that's what the kingdom does for us. We endure to the end. And then when we have no more strength left, the Lord makes a way. Yahweh makes a way through Yeshua and the Holy Spirit. And boom, next thing you know, we get through it. We get our energy back. And now we're not being carried. We're walking along with the Spirit. We're walking with it in us, and we're enjoying the learning process, the transformation process, you know, and that's what it is. So anyway, I just want to tell y'all that I love you. Just maintain, keep your head up, because temptation is a normal thing for everybody. It's normal, y'all. And if you just keep searching out the basics of holiness and righteousness, temptation can't beat you. Can't beat you at all. You're strong anyway. That's why I want to, also before I go, because we're going to end this video soon, I want to let you know you're strong. And the enemy's going to always come and try to beat you up with the past and things that you feel bad about or things you wanted to accomplish and you didn't. It's always going to try to remind you of the things that you didn't achieve or something to make you go back into that mindset of pity or pain or hurt or loss or victimhood. We're stronger than that. And when that comes, when those things come, remember that's temptation tempting you to fall back into that box of whatever it is that's haunting you. But what I want you to do when temptation comes and does that to you, I want you to put your chest out and say, you know what? No. No. No, temptation. No. Get back in your place. Like Yeshua ordered those demons into those pigs. Get back in your place. Now, I'm not saying the demon's place was in the pigs, because the pigs didn't agree with that. That's why they killed themselves, committed suicide, pigicide, right? So, just remember, you ain't a coward. Just remember, you have holy strength. Just remember, you ain't a punk or a punkette, okay? You're not that. You are a daughter or a son of holiness and righteousness. So when temptation comes, and keep it moving. I love y'all. I'm out.